So it looks like Tom Homan, the border czar, is being sent to Minnesota amid all the crazy protests and controversy going on. So let's take a look at what's
Bill,
going
good
on.
morning. President Trump announcing just a couple of hours ago he's sending border czar Tom Homan to run operations in Minnesota, reporting directly to him. Listen, there's a lot of internal frustration among members of DHS, specifically Customs and Border Protection, ICE.
Yeah, Trump should have put in the Insurrection Act at this point. It's kind of sad that he hasn't, but definitely should have. It's gotten too crazy and out of hand over there. So you got to stop this stuff at the beginning before it gets too out of hand like it is now, for sure.
Also, Department of Justice over the killing of Alex Preddy, the second American citizen to die this month at the hands of law enforcement. That frustration is growing. Our colleague Bill Malugin hearing from more than half a dozen sources involved in immigration enforcement who say the frustration stems from DHS officials on TV putting out statements to describe Mr. Preddy as a...
Remember, they always say peaceful protest. Well, if you have to dress up like this and, because that's what you're up against, I'd say it's probably not that peaceful.
Terrorist who was there to, quote,
we'll see about that in a sec.
Damage, end quote. Or federal agents conducting a, quote, massacre, even though the video angles show the opposite story. DHS responding to Bill saying, we have seen a highly coordinated campaign of violence against our law enforcement. This individual committed a federal crime while armed as he obstructed an active law enforcement operation. As with any situation that's evolving, we will work to give swift, accurate information to the American people as more information becomes available. Now, FBI Director Kash Patel says that the Bureau is assisting the Department of Homeland Security, who is leading the investigation on the ground, involving the agent that shot and killed Mr. Preddy over the weekend. Patel said this about Preddy, who was found with a loaded handgun. Watch.
Need all hands on deck, bro.
No one who wants to be peaceful shows up at a protest with a firearm that is loaded with 2 full magazines. That is not a peaceful protest, and you do not get to touch law enforcement. You do that anywhere, this FBI is going to be leading the charge to arrest those.
And of course, it's simply too early to get any word from the Justice Department on any potential charges, if there are charges at all involving this unnamed officer.
Sure.
But
well,
right now, too early
probably
in
not.
the investigation.
All right, David, more to come on this, certainly. David Salent, big story. Thank you, sir. Dana's got more now.
And want to bring in Alpha News journalist Liz Collins. She is based in Minnesota. Liz, how about this news that President Trump is sending Tom Homan there? Is that welcome news in Minnesota? Do you think it will make a difference?
Yeah, I was speaking actually with a couple police officers on the state
and local level,
Dana, this morning, and they welcome this news as yet more vandalism they saw overnight to a Minneapolis Hilton hotel property. Vehicles outside that hotel also damaged by rioters last night as this weekend of chaos continued now in the wake of the shooting death of Alex Preddy on Saturday. As we heard,
just look how crazy
this
is.
Investigation at both the state and the
this
federal
is peaceful.
level as well. President Trump acknowledging that.
But
there's also a
peaceful.
call from Minnesota Law Enforcement Labor Services for an emergency state and federal summit on immigration enforcement to establish what state law enforcement leaders call clear, coordinated policies for enforcement and detainers, saying what is taking place now is unsustainable. We saw that again last night. A lot of frustration, I can say, from my sources, as you had federal agents calling for backup.
Look at all the Karens out there.
Police were nowhere to be seen as they were under attack at this hotel, actually getting...
I wonder what the percentages of these people are the white liberal Karens, the classic people that are at the protest that you always see causing problems and messing everything up. I wonder what percentage that is.
Into the hotel,
I bet at least
it
60,
and leaving behind, of course,
70.
Thousands of dollars in damage. Right. Yet again, cops are saying, though, that they really need to break up these groups that are following their every move and
they need to arrest these people, bro.
Things changing until something like that happens.
Look at that.
Liz, for this possible summit that you're talking about, would that include the possibility of the state saying, okay, this is where we can work with the federal government to try to find criminal, illegal aliens to get them to leave?
The state's not going to work with them. That's why they need the Insurrection Act.
That something needs to happen at the level of the Hennepin and Ramsey County jails, going ahead and letting ICE do their work there and taking prisoners from there that are here illegally. But the messaging is really also a problem, not only from the governor, but also the Hennepin County attorney. We obtained a memo just on Friday, Dana. They're talking about how they're kind of offering support to officers to invest.
Peaceful, right there, right? That's what they always say. Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty peaceful, huh? What a joke.
Reports of
these people are mentally ill
by federal agents in your community. So sort
mentally
of this
ill.
Line in the sand that they're drawing is not helping anyone. And I can tell you there is a lot of frustration. They're hoping that Tom Homan will come here and help to turn this around.
Okay, let me play for you a little bit from Governor Walz and Mayor Frey over the weekend.
This should be of deep concern for you no matter what town you're in America, because your town could be next.
No, it won't, because my people work with the government. They don't resist them every step of the way like you guys do. Constantly resisting every single inch of progress. You're always trying to resist and cause problems, which is why Minnesota looks like a fucking war zone right now, because you guys are stirring the pot and making shit worse. Plain and simple.
Liberties, your freedoms could be sacrificed because of what this administration is doing.
So now we've got 2 Minnesota.
Listen, I live in a red state, and we have had deportations in my area, but there's none of this crazy bullshit going on. There's maybe been 2 or 3 people on the side of the road with stupid little signs, and people just flip them off and laugh at them as they drive by. There's never been any crazy riots, tear gas, things like that.
A mother and a bright spirit, and now we're telling Alex's story. What's the plan, Donald Trump? What is the plan? What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state?
Of the feeling amongst citizens from all across the ideological perspective and spectrum on the Preddy killing over the weekend and where things are now, especially with President Trump saying, okay, I'm sending Homan in, he's going to report to me, and we're going to investigate everything.
Yeah, I will say that, over the weeks, we've seen these continued coordinated efforts continue to grow. Obviously, there was peaceful protests that have happened in the wake of these deaths. But just from a law enforcement perspective, there's frustration that these agitators are not arrested immediately.
Exactly. And they 100% should be arrested immediately if you're caught, like, causing problems. Like, even this, I don't necessarily agree with this. It's just like, you guys are blocking an entire roadway. Like, if you want to stand on the side of the road and do stuff, be my guest. I still think it's stupid, but go for it, you know? Like, you want to do that, go ahead. But being in the middle of the road, doing all that kind of stuff, blocking traffic, and then, of course, these other ones are just getting crazy, out of hand, violent. You have graffiti destroying property, just all this other bullshit. It is just out of hand. And then the government doesn't do anything. The state government in Minnesota, they allow it to go on. It gets worse. It gets worse. They feed the fire by using the type of rhetoric they use and language to kind of rile people up. And it gets out of hand. And then the federal government, they need to step in, which they are now kind of, but like, Insurrection Act should have been put into place by now, dude. It should have been in place at least a week ago, at the very latest. Ideally, probably more like 2 weeks ago. But it's just crazy.
On the radio last night, again, Minneapolis police airing that everyone eventually who was arrested, they'll be photographed and released from that hotel riot. So this will, sort of be on repeat. But again, on the federal and state level, they have acknowledged there will be an investigation into this shooting death of Alex Preddy, which, is welcome news. We've heard that from Republicans and Democrats alike.
All right, Liz, thank you for joining us. No doubt we'll see you again as the week goes on. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
And then we have this here.
You press or you press? Get back! Get back! Get back!
Look, they just threw a brick at him. So they just literally threw a brick, which is assault with a deadly weapon, mind you, and just launched it at him. What kind of an idiot does something like that? Like, so stupid. I hope they find that guy and lock him up. It's ridiculous. And then they claim, oh, peaceful. It's peaceful. It's always peaceful. No, it isn't. Look at that. The fuck do you call that? What a joke. Yeah, Insurrection Act needs to happen. They throw a brick and run.
No. You press?
Fucking ridiculous, dude.
And that's the distinction. If you want to go out there and peacefully protest, have at it.
Yeah.
You want to go out there and use your Second Amendment right to bear arms? Okay, no problem. But look at the situation in Minnesota. This is not something that just happened overnight. They've been rioting recklessly, destroying federal vehicles, ramming federal agents, literally hitting them, striking them, and as you just highlighted, using coordinated attacks to threaten their families. Peaceful. None of that is lawful, and none of that will be tolerated. You do not get to touch law enforcement. And we've got also investigations ongoing into the funding of this. We've made actual substantial progress. I just can't publicize it yet. But we've actually found groups and individuals responsible for funding it because it's not happening organically.
This is incredible.
Absolutely. And remember, like I said before, the states are fueling the fire. The ones where all this bullshit's going on, they're fueling the fire. I live in a red state. No issues whatsoever anywhere like this. Nothing close to it. I live in a pretty decently well-populated area. Nothing remotely like this is going on. And it's because our state doesn't allow it to happen. And they don't fight the federal government on it. We cooperate, and then boom, it's just progress. You make progress, move forward, and it's that. And when that doesn't happen, then you have crazy bullshit like what's going on in Minnesota. I got riots everywhere, destroying buildings, graffiti, destroying cars, tear gas all over the place. Like, it's just ridiculous, dude. It's just like, I don't understand how this is going on. And then you have this in Chicago. This guy, the mayor, joining anti-ICE. So you know he's going to resist them. And it's like, yeah. Yeah. And then it's funny, though, because back in these days, there was no problem with ICE. Right here. Look at that. Oh. Trump has 1.5, and then all these protests. Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it? And remember, Tim Homan, right here, worked for Obama. He's given a medal by him right there. And now the entire liberal media is going to be against him and turning on him. Guaranteed.
You know, it's always an honor for me to be in the Oval Office with the greatest president of my lifetime. Yes, I said it, and I meant it. You know, I just got home last night. I toured the border in California, Arizona, and Texas. I did it in a four-wheel drive. I did it on the river. I did it from the air. Hundreds upon hundreds of miles of border. I didn't see one illegal alien. Not a single one. I've done this since 1984. I worked for 6 different presidents. No one's done more than President Trump. What he has done is gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Hard to stop. I went to hundreds of miles of border and didn't see one illegal alien.
And that's after he followed Biden, who just let the floodgates open.
Considering the Biden administration, we had 10, 12,000 a day.
Exactly.
Most released in the United States. I'm proud to be with these patriots behind me. I'm already proud to be in the Oval Office of the President, but being with these heroes, I met some of these soldiers down on the border. And actually, a shout out to Fort Drum, New York. We got some 10th Mountain Division here, so Elise Stefanik, Claudia Tennant, we all love Fort Drum and the 10th Mountain. So look, this is a game changer. I want to make something perfectly clear, because we get attacked all the time being inhumane. The Biden administration is much more humane. It's a bunch of crap. Because there's been studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. They get raped. And not just the women, children too. I've done numerous investigations in that. Sex trafficking was at historic highs with that open border.
Under Biden,
Historic highs that killed a 250,000 Americans. No inspector terrorists that came across the border. Record, historic. What happened under the Biden administration was the most inhumane thing I've seen in my lifetime. Now that the border is 96% decline, 96% less people are coming, how many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life. President Trump brought together one hell of a team here, and the success proves. We all working together, one team, one fight. We're not done yet. We're going to keep going, and I guarantee you we can continue saving thousands and thousands of lives. Secure border means strong national security. Secure border saves lives. Thank you.
Bingo. And that's the way it is right there. So, yeah, I just find it hilarious and hypocritical that the left and left media generally speaking, I mean, the right does it too with some things, but it's always, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then you look at Obama and it was the same thing. Used the same guy, no problems, no riots, no crazy storyline. There are people going out there. It seems like people in general were just more common sense oriented back there, and now everyone is just emotionally fueled to the max that they can possibly be, and they don't use common sense or know how to think anymore, and they let their emotions overrule everything, which is a problem. You have to, use up here. That's good. That'll help you go far in life. But yeah, this is all just so crazy and ridiculous.